Hello boys and girls, welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Octopus, and today I'm bringing to you the Zao, one of the oldest cruisers in the game, tier 10 cruiser in the game, and personally one of the cruisers that I played the most and I loved playing since the very start of the game, basically. As you can see, we are facing a bunch of tier 10s, but there are also a few tier 8s and 9s, so this is a very good matchmaking for us. There's only one DD that can harm us, which is the gearing, because Azashu has super deep water torpedoes that can hit only battleships and CVs, so we don't really need to care too much about torpedoes. So as you can see, we want to take flanks in Zao, because Zao has a very good concealment of 9.9 at best, so you will be able to outspot the vast majority of enemy cruisers and of course enemy battleships. So you can do some sneaky maneuvers and find some nasty angles while being undetected, while a lot of other cruisers cannot do these kind of things. Zao has 4 triple 203mm turrets, but one of the best features of the Zao is the dispersion, which is pinpoint accurate dispersion with the legendary upgrade, of course, but even without the legendary upgrade, Zao has a very good dispersion on his main guns. Zao has very good HE with a high fire chance. It is well above 20%, if I'm not mistaken, with the full HE farming build that I will show you at the end of the video. As you can see, our range is around 17.5 with this build that I'm running, which is not impressive, but it is enough in my opinion if you play correctly. Of course, in the Zao you want to take kiting positions every time. You don't want to face targets while you are nose in, because you have only 25mm of bow, so you cannot really bounce any kind of AP, because even 380 will just overmatch your bow and you could get citadeled. Even if Zao armor has a very particular shape, so you will be able to just get some overpins from the battleship APs, but don't really count on that. It doesn't really have any kind of turtleback or something like this, so always try to keep your ship angled and try to dodge, basically maneuver and yada yada. You don't want to play stationary in Zao. You're not a Des Moines, you don't want to hug islands, so you constantly want to be on the move, basically. You can of course play with your speed, with your rudder, but never sit stationary close to the islands and nose in, as I'm seeing so far lately in this game.
The ship is on fire.
So as you can see, I popped up my spotter plane to have extra range, because I want to be able to farm these battleships that are playing stationary, which are very easy targets to hit, for me at least. So as you can see, our team is spread up pretty evenly. Half of the ships are on the left, half are on the right, but we lack middle map control, because as you can see, there's a Venezia which is completely free to cap B cap, so we will have to do something about this at some point in the game. As you can see, we are, what is it, 4 minutes and 30 into the game, and we already reached like 76k of damage, because we are starting a lot of fires on battleships. So this is the bread and butter of Zao, HE long range spam basically, but you will see that Zao is much more than this, because as I told you, Zao has a very good accuracy on his main guns, and this can lead to very nasty volleys with APs if you face cruisers at medium to close range. If they give you full broadside, don't hesitate, use your AP, don't be afraid. Sorry about that. As I was saying, you will be surprised by the amount of damage that your AP can do at broadsiding cruisers at medium to close range, and we will see about that lately in this particular match. But for now, we are just farming this Yamato and this Soyuz as much as we can, because this Yamato doesn't seem to have fire prevention, so this is a great benefit for us, because we will be able to start fires constantly on him, hopefully, if the RNG favors us, of course. Yeah, as you can see, a double fire on the Yamato, and this is our wither, or just after 6 minutes into the game. Another feature that I didn't mention so far about Zao are his torpedoes. You have 10 torpedoes per side. They are 12 km range, and they hit like a truck, because they are basically Shimakaze torpedoes. They have 12 kilometers of range. It used to be 8 kilometers, but they decided to switch it to 12. The only downside of these torpedoes are the firing angles, that as you just saw, the firing angles are terrible, in the sense that you are forced to give full broadside to be able to launch these torpedoes. But these torpedoes are very useful when you're kiting away, so you can just kite away and just shoot torpedoes, launch torpedoes towards the ships that are chasing you, basically. Okay, and of course you are able to stealth torp, because you have, as I said, 9.9 concealment, and you have like 2 kilometers of buffer when you want to launch torpedoes, which is great. Here we are outnumbered now, because we lost a couple of ships and we didn't kill any of the enemy ships on this flank. So right now our only option here is to just kite. We cannot really tank double Yamato, Soyuz and double Venezia and Azuma, plus the gearing that will perma-spot us if we push in. So now what we have to do is kite away, and kiting is the best thing the Zao is capable of doing, because you don't have very good maneuverability, but as I said, your armor is a little bit trolly and can overpen and bounce a lot of battleship AP coming your way. Plus, if we keep our angles, we are kind of mitigating the sap damage incoming from the double Venezia. At least this is our plan. This Yamato repaired a single fire just a few seconds ago, so we are keeping the pressure up on this guy, because we know that he doesn't have his repair party available, his damage control party, sorry.
Torpedoes astern.
Because right now this Yamato is kind of putting himself in a very bad situation, because as you can see, we have a Saint Louis and a Drake near us, which are both heavy HE spamming cruisers, plus us, so he's running into triple HE spamming cruisers, and this is not good. We take a massive hit from the Yamato, which was kind of lucky with his dispersion. So as you saw, you just want to dodge every kind of shell incoming your way. You don't really want to tank too much. Yamato goes down, so we can switch back to Soyuz. Of course, Russian battleships are very nasty to deal with, because they don't take too much HE damage, because they have strong deck armor. You can only pen their superstructures, but you will still start fires, and they have a limited number of damage control party consumable. So in the long term, you will be able to farm them if you spam HE at them enough. As you can see, we are barely reaching the half of the duration of the battle, and we already pumped up our damage to 187k. We already started 15 fires, which is already a remarkable result. Speaking of the match, we secured the C cap, and our remaining ships of the right flank are kind of getting into B, because we have to contest and cap B in order to try at least to claw back this match in our favor. As you can see, I'm running RPF, so this is a very useful skill to run on Zao, because it gives you a general idea about the closest ship. Where is the closest ship? And I'm assuming that in this case it's the DD. So I know that the DD is on the 4 line. We are spotted, in fact, so we know that the DD is kind of close to us. I'm taking a risk here. I'm taking a maneuver. I'm maneuvering all the way because I don't want to be perma-spotted by the DD. I'm launching some torpedoes based on a prediction that this Soyuz is gonna turn like this, as you can see on the minimap, because he will be spammed by these guys here, and I think that he will try to get into cover behind this little island like this. This is a prediction, of course. There is no real thing that is indicating that the Soyuz is gonna do this at the moment, but we will see about that. It seems like he's doing exactly what I predicted. I'm popping my spotter plane to have a better vision of Soyuz, and it seems like she's exactly doing what I predicted, and she is going to eat at least one torpedo. Yeah, there he is. As you can see, 17k damage, which is a lot. It is a very powerful tool to have. These torpedoes, as I said, hit like a truck and they have a decent range. So basically, now we are alone on our position. But Zao is not a ship that fears to be alone, unless there's a carrier in the game, of course. But when there are no carriers, you are good on your own, because you have very good concealment. You have powerful guns. So you can disengage at will, basically. So you don't be afraid to go on your own on a flanking position while you are playing Zao. Of course, you can support also your DDs if you want in caps, but I think that the best way for Zao to shine is flanking. We secured the kill on the enemy Yamato, and this is Arsonist and High Caliber for us. Sadly, we only scored 1 kill so far, even if we dealt 214k of damage. This Azuma is closing the distance with us, and this is a big mistake because we have torpedoes while she doesn't. Plus we have a very much better reload on our guns, and we have more guns than her. I'm keeping my HE because she is angled, but I'm immediately switching to AP because I think that at some point she will try to avoid being torped by us, and the only way for her to avoid being torped is ram or turn all the way, which is exactly what she is doing right now. So we dodge most of his volley, and as you can see, 4 citadels, 22.8k of damage, and we keep our APs, of course. And there are another double citadel, and Azuma is dead. This is our second kill. We are also capping A. Saint Louis is contesting B. So right now we have a good chance to win this match, basically. We have Venezia, Gearing and Ajaccio left on the enemy team, while we have double Des Moines, Drake, Saint Louis plus us. So we have this, I think, even if our Des Moines just died. If we can cap A, keep B, and at least contest C, we should be fine, because we still have more than 5 minutes to go. As you can see, my RPF is pointing straight towards the last known position of the gearing. As you can see on the minimap, I'm launching some preemptive torpedoes because I'm expecting the gearing to close up the distance and to try to torp some of our ships that are between A cap and B cap.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
At this particular point of the match, I don't really need to do anything too much aggressive, because we will win this if nobody dies and if we can keep this double cap. I'm popping my hydro because I'm fearing some gearing torpedoes. I don't want to catch torpedoes in this particular situation, because as you can see, we used all our heals and we are down to 16.8k of health. Zao health is very limited, it is only 40.8, and Zao is one of the few examples of tier 10 cruisers where taking survivability expert can have some kind of sense, if you know what I mean, because having 3.5k more HP plus the little buff that this will give to your repair party consumable will give you at around 10-12% more HP in the long term if you can use all your heals. So this is a skill that you might take into consideration when you are speccing your Zao captain, but in my opinion there are some much more valuable skills. I mean, you can try it, but most of the cases you will not be able to use the extra heal during your matches. So right now I'm stopping, I'm slowing down, let's say, because I think the gearing might have launched torpedoes on this side of the island, but doesn't seem like this. And right now I just want to get rid of this Venezia, really, because this double Venezia plus gearing division has played well, and they were very annoying during the battle, so I want to try to do something about them as well. We don't really want to get any close to the Venezia because her sap can hurt us very much, very heavily. We want to keep our distance. We want to maneuver, we want to juke his shells as much as we can, of course. We are maneuvering, we are constantly exchanging course. We can see that there is a smoke in front of the Venezia, and we know that this is the gearing most likely. Since the Ajaccio was lately spotted in B, there is the gearing. As you can see, even if we were angled, Venezia just scored a 5k hit on us. I'm switching to AP here because I think the Venezia is about to give me broadside. I'm keeping my angle. There we go. We take an AP shot at this Venezia, which is angling away, unluckily for us, so no citadels. But we are able to go undetected because the Venezia went around the gearing smoke. So we are good to push here. I'm keeping my AP because I think the Venezia will give me broadside at some point. I'm holding my fire to see if this Venezia completes his turn, but it doesn't seem like he wants to fully turn here. He's also slowing down. We are spotted by the gearing, so I'm switching back to HE because I can't afford to wait too much here. Because right now the Venezia is focused on another ship of our team, so we want to take advantage of this situation. He repairs instantly the single fire we started on him, so we want to keep up the pressure, of course. Another fire. There's only 1 minute remaining in this match. Here I could fire another HE salvo, but I chose to switch to AP, but unluckily the Saint-Louis finishes off the kill. There's the gearing spotted. There's pretty much nothing that he can do at this point. He kills the Saint-Louis, but yeah, this is not enough for him to win the match. We score a couple of hits on this gearing. Let's see if we can take the final shot on him. And yeah, kill. So these are the final results. We ended up with 287k damage. Arsonist, Dreadnought, Witherer, and High Caliber. Only 3 kills, 20 fires, 6 citadels, and 1 solo capture. Only 1 torpedo hit, sadly, on the Soyuz. 2.7k base XP, almost. Very well done to our Des Moines. We scored at 2.4k. Very well done to him. And of course, very well done as well to the enemy division, Double Venezia and Gearing, that were a good enemy, let's say. As you can see, most of our damage came from our HE, 122k plus 108k from fires, 17k from torpedoes, and 40k from AP. It will happen to you to use more DAP if you happen to find more broadsiding cruisers, but yeah, you just saw on this poor Azuma how powerful the AP can be, even if this Azuma didn't stand any chances against us, because even if she wouldn't have given us broadsides, we would have just torped him. 1.2 million of potential damage. This can be much more much higher, because if you have a lot of battleships shooting at you and you are able to maneuver and dodge, you can pump this up well over 2 millions. 40k damage of spotting, and we absorbed for 54k of damage, not that much. As you can see, we mostly damage battleships, but also cruisers, and you can also deal very nasty volleys on DDs if you have a friendly DD that is spotting some DD at close range to you. You can deal volleys for 10 to 12k on DDs. They will hate you, pretty much. Credit earnings, nothing really special to say here. Zao is a silver ship, so don't expect to just be able to farm credits in Zao. So here is our Zao, very good looking ship. Always run premium consumables. Don't bother with defensive AA, as we always say, just stick with your Hydro. Very standard Hydro, but it is much more useful than defensive AA. Don't use the fighter, use your spotting aircraft too, of course, because fighters are also useless in this current meta. Upgrade wise, of course, you don't want to run the 8 km torpedoes, even if they have a much faster cooldown and they are faster, but 12 km range torpedoes are awesome. So upgrade wise, here I'm running the extended spotting aircraft modification 1 for plus 30% duration of the spotting aircraft consumable. If you don't have this call upgrade, you should run this one, main armament modification 1, to preserve your torpedo tubes, basically, because you don't want to lose them. Here I'm running the extended hydro duration. Once again, if you don't have this call upgrade, I think I'm not sure if you want to go engine room with protection, because you tend to lose your rudder pretty often if you're kiting away. But you can also go for damage control system modification 1. This is up to you. Here I'm not running the aiming system modification 1, but I'm trying the main battery modification 2 for extra turret traverse, because Zao turret traverse is fairly slow, and this is one of the greatest weaknesses of the ship. The turret traverse are fairly slow, but if you use this upgrade, you can make up for it, since it was recently buffed. Plus, as we said, the aiming on the dispersion on Zao is already very good, so you don't really need this. Here I'm running steering gears modification 1 because Zao maneuverability, as you can see, is not great. Has a very high turning circle radius. Is a very sluggish ship in this sense. So to make up for this a little bit, I'm running the rudder shift the increased rudder shift time. You have the option to go for propulsion if you don't go for concealment here and you go steering gears modification 2, but you lose your concealment and this is not recommended. I used to run steering gears plus propulsion in randoms to juke the enemy shells and for the memes, but my recommended build is to run concealment here because this is much more valuable and it will come in handy every game basically, while this you will be able to use it just if you know what you are doing and if you're in a perfect situation while you are being chased by the enemy ships basically. And finally, this is the legendary upgrade for Zao, which doesn't have any kind of downside, to be honest. Yes, you don't have the increased range that you would have running, this upgrade. And if you don't have, of course, the legendary upgrade, you can go either range or reload. I would suggest you to go for reload, but if you want to use your Zao in a competitive environment, range might also be very good because you can reach like 19 kilometers of range, and if you can lead and aim correctly, it will be a very nice thing to have. In randoms though, I will switch to main battery modification 3, and as you can see, the penalty of your main battery traverse speed will be compensated by this upgrade, so basically. So captain skills, this is my competitive build, let's call it like this. So you run priority target, expert marksman, superintendent, concealment expert, RPF or radio location as it is called right now, adrenaline rush, expert loader, and final jack of all trades. You have some kind of flexibility, as I said. If you don't want to run radio location, you can just switch this for demolition expert, or if you want, even survivability expert. But as I said, this skill you will be able to see the difference only if the game lasts long and you will be able to use all your heals and you don't get citadel pretty much. So don't really, if you want to take this, take it, but in my opinion demolition expert is much more valuable. And maybe you can also switch expert marksman for last stand, because as I said, you tend to lose your rudder pretty often in Zao. So yeah, there is a little bit of flexibility in captain skills, but the mandatory ones are priority target in my opinion, expert marksman, superintendent and concealment expert, and expert loader, because expert loader is amazing on Zao because you are able to switch to AP and murder broadsiding cruisers, because they will expect you to fire HE at them while you are firing to them AP, and yeah, you can just devastate cruisers basically at close range. Flag wise, of course you won't run any kind of camo, and flags you should run India Delta, Sierra Mike, and November Foxtrot. Of course, these are basic flags for every kind of ships. Plus you want to run demolition flags like India X-Ray and Victor Lima for a better fire chance. You can also run detonation flags and India Yankee for less fire duration. With this build, without demolition expert, your fire chance is 21%. If you run demolition expert, this will pump up to 23%. I think that 21 is already pretty good, but with these flags, remember that without flags it will be 19. So if you don't have these flags, you can just go for demolition expert and you will be back to 21. And yeah, this is it, guys. This was my Zao commentary. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, share the video and share the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and remember to hit the notification bell to keep up with the new videos that are gonna be on this channel. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.